Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here in June. I'm very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. Welcome back to Big Mouth, and you can keep this and any other conversation I ignite going with me over on my Twitter at Movies TV Mad, on my Vero at Big Mouth One, and my extension, the extension to this channel, like you've built an extension in your home, is my Instagram, Big Mouth. Welcome to this week's edition, fellow Doctor Who fans, to the Doctor Who show. So we've got a bit to discuss because there was a bit of news yesterday. So first of all, yesterday we started off the day with the BBC boasting that season 12 will be the biggest, most ambitious, epic and awesome season of Doctor Who ever. That even got me a bit pumped. But that wasn't enough for them. They said stay up to 10 o'clock, midnight or whatever it was. And we're announced two very exciting guest stars. So if you stayed up, 10 o'clock's not staying up really, is it? Or was it midnight? I don't know. It was midnight for me. I fell asleep. But anyway, they announced that Stephen Fry and Selene Henry would guest star in, I suppose, an episode each, I suppose. I don't know if they're going to be in the same episode or separate episodes. I would say separate episodes in season 12 of Doctor Who. Now listen, I love Selene Henry. I love Stephen Fry. I grew up watching these people. They're great. But it doesn't exactly get the juices pumping. If you've decided not to watch season 12, you're not going to say, wow, Lenny Henry and Stephen Fry are going to be in it. I better start watching it. No, you're not. Of course you're not. It's going to be very interesting. Don't forget, The Woman Who Fell to Earth got 8.5 million viewers, right? And even the second episode did really well. And I think the ratings were dropping, but they were still at least 5 million or so, which was very solid for Doctor Who, you know. So when people argue about ratings, it does kind of mystify me. Even when I was arguing about my issues with season 11, it was never the ratings. Because then you can get idiots like Mr. Titus going, well, the ratings are good. You're all idiots. You kind of dig yourself a hole and you go in it. But if you talk about the creative kind of levels of season 11, then you can have a really, really strong debate. Season 11, keep on saying this, bored me after episode 3. And I think this was the same for many, many people. So it's going to be interesting. Will the Doctor Who season 12 premiere get 8 million viewers? It's interesting, isn't it? You know, the premiere is a 2-part premiere. One on the New Year's Day, the 1st of January, season 12 of Doctor Who launches. I think that's a great idea, seeing how long we've had to wait for Doctor Who. And then I think on the 3rd or the 4th of January, part 2 is out. So that's just a 3-day wait. So that's awesome. Then it'll be on weekly. So listen, even though I was underwhelmed and disappointed with most of season 11, I'm excited for Doctor Who. I love Doctor Who. Call the police. I'm sorry. No, I'm not boycotting season 12 because I was disappointed with a previous season. I've been disappointed with many seasons of my favourite shows. I was underwhelmed by The Last Jedi, but I'm not boycotting The Rise of Skywalker. That's dumb talk. That really is. If you love something, you support. You don't have to. You can boycott season 12 of Doctor Who if you want. And if you are planning to do so, I don't think the announcement of Stephen Fry and Selene Henry is really going to change your mind. I was predicting that David Tennant was going to be announced because there was this rumour that he does guest star in season 12. And it's kind of Jodie's Doctor trying to say that the previous male doctors weren't very good and the Doctor has to change. Hey, we shall see what happens. It'd be great to see David back, but and there's rumours that other former Doctors were asked and Capaldi and Smith turned it down due to the content and the dialogue he was going to have to be saying. So that's all very interesting. It could come down to that they were going to do this and they decided not to do it with a previous Doctor. I mean, I've always wanted a free Doctor story in New Who. I think we're over 10 years old now. What? We're coming to the 12th season, for Christ's sake. So I think it's time to kind of get Eccleston and Tennant and Smith and Capaldi and Whittaker all together to do, what are they now, 4, 5, whatever, however many. I can't count, can I? I'm a bloody geek. But maths is not my strong point, not mine anyway. Although geeks and nerds are supposed to be clever. Not this geek and nerd. So anyway, right, that's what's happening. They are boasting the most expensive, the most ambitious, awesome season of New Who. So we will watch and we will see. Look, the production values of season 11 were great. But if you're not telling a good story, listen, I never used to go to bed at night and go, oh, we must have a female doctor. This is so very important. So I didn't particularly want a female doctor, but I didn't spit the bottle out. I didn't spit the dummy out when I heard we were getting a female doctor. All I asked was to get a really interesting, new, fleshed-out version of the Doctor, which unfortunately, after episode 3 of season 11, we never got. So that was my whole issue with season 11. You can't just put a female actor, a female doctor in front of us and expect us just to say, well, this is not very good and this is not very interesting. But she's a female, so we better keep on supporting it. And of course, there's some Doctor Who fans, yes, I admit it, with such a strong agenda, not happy of the fact that there is a female doctor, and they are trying to spread negative kind of publicity around to get less and less people to watch it. I understand that. Bowstreak is a fabulous example. I like Bowstreak. I think he's hilarious, he's funny, he's entertaining, but he takes it too far. And of course, he's part of the fandom menace. Of course he is. I used to be, but I'm not anymore. So I'm excited for season 12. Can't wait for the trailer. I think it's at the end of this month. So that's something very exciting to look forward to. And we'll judge the trailer on its merits. Hopefully it's at least 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes long, so we can get a good gauge of what it is. Because if it's a 30-second trailer, then it still looks like they're trying to hide too much. Now, like The Rise of Skywalker, they may be trying to hide things because they don't want fans to find out all the goodness. And that's cool, but if you're hiding things, people do get suspicious. In this day and age, people want to see stuff. So I'm very interested to know, are you pumped for season 12 of Doctor Who? Will you be tuning in or will you not be tuning in to the premiere, which is on the 1st of January, New Year's Day? So we won't have long to wait at all. And it has been a long wait for brand new Doctor Who. And this is Chris Chibnall. And officially, we know now there is no Christmas Day special. But we're not missing much there because we didn't have a Christmas Day special last year, did we? We had a New Year's Day special. Again, this is one of the things that obviously Chibnall is getting his own way. He's very extreme left. He doesn't want to offend anyone with a Christmas Day episode, a Christmas-themed episode. Listen, if you don't celebrate Christmas, I'm happy for you. But I love Christmas. I love my Doctor Who on Christmas Day, and I expect to get it. And I think it's thoroughly disappointing that Chibnall has done this. But never mind, we're not getting a Christmas episode. Let's see what happens. Let's see if him and Jodie Whittaker remain. That's another question that nobody really knows. And I said this, I think, on last week's Doctor Who show, that I expect her to complete 3 seasons, which would mean she'd come back for a season 13. Then she'll announce her departure, and then they'll garnish the whole thing as another successful actor playing the Doctor. Of course, that's not the case. If we kind of look at the health of Doctor Who right now, as I say, I thought the ratings were all right. Yes, ratings do fall from, big rated season premieres. That was obvious. There was no way Doctor Who could stick with 8.5 million viewers from its premiere. But I mean, when you look at the second episode, still 7.5 million people watched it. Then it was starting to drop a lot more. But I think it did okay. Look, it did okay. Doctor Who's ratings have always fluctuated. Look, even though the Woman Who Fell to Earth beat the first ever episode of New Who Rose, if you look consistently in RTD's era, the ratings definitely much stronger than season 11 throughout the board, stronger than the Moffat era as well, because Russell's Doctor Who worked. The man knew exactly what he was doing. And I was talking about this last week. I want him back, yes, but only if he wants to come back. And he's working, he's doing a lot of projects now, mainly focused on the LGBTQ community as well, and that is up to him. That is his priority. So I don't think he has any intention of coming back. I would say, as I've said before, a Godfather role would be perfect for him with another showrunner underneath him. But it's not going to happen. And Chris Chibnall is obviously not the showrunner that's going to solve every fan's problem and, in those fans' eyes, solve the show's problem. But we are stuck with him for the time being, and we have to judge him on what he gives us. So right now we're going to judge him on season 11 because that's all the evidence that we've got. And then when we see the trailer and the opener for season 12, we can judge him again. Is there a course correction? Are the episodes going to be more epic, more exciting, and less about identity politics? We can only hope. But this is 2019. We'll see the episodes in 2020. We know what the entertainment industry are all about now. We haven't got the power to change that. I mean, if Doctor Who's ratings were so low, then of course they'd have to do something about it. But I do think it's a question mark on whether Whittaker and Chibnall remain. But I think they're not going to get rid of them. I think they want to save face. They want the Garnish to say that they had a progressive showrunner and a female lead as the Doctor, so they can say, do you know what? We did this. It kind of worked for some people. The numbers were okay, and then they can walk away from it and never do it again, unless they actually cast one of the great female actors. Which, as good as Jodie is, and she's a solid actor and a solid performer, she's proved that on her other kind of things like Broadchurch. But the thing is, does she have the personality? Does she have the aura to play the Doctor? She doesn't really. And I've always said, playing the Doctor isn't just about being a good actor. It's about putting your personality on that TARDIS console. And if you can do that and perform it, and you have a showrunner that can really flesh you out as a great kind of unique version of the Doctor, then you've got something special. We had that with Capaldi. We had that with Smith. We had that with Tennant, and we most certainly had it with Eccleston, and we had it with the people before him as well. Not all those classic Who actors were my cup of tea. Colin Baker wasn't, Sylvester McCoy wasn't, but they did put their personalities and characters and their performances out there, and it was very, very successful for the people who watched it. And I think, hopefully, Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker have come to the party that you do need to flesh this Doctor out. You do need to make her interesting, not because she's a woman, because she's the Doctor. The Doctor who should have bags of personality, and making stupid expressions like, isn't going to work. Channeling David Tennant isn't going to work here. Because it seems to me Chris Chibnall's forgotten what David Tennant's Doctor's like anyway. There's this kind of reputation that David's Doctor was like, I'm the jokey Doctor, let's go then. Brilliant, this is brilliant, I love the human race, which he did. But there was sometimes, like when he deposed, was it Margaret Jones or whatever she was, right, the Prime Minister in the Christmas Invasion, when he did that, you saw how dark David could take it. At midnight, you could see how dark David could take it. In the waters of Mars, or is it the water of Mars? I can never remember that. But anyway, in the water of Mars, you saw how dark David and Russell took it. So David's Doctor wasn't just this jovial Doctor. In fact, I would say that David's Doctor, in places, was a lot more darker than Eccleston's Doctor and Capaldi's Doctors. They're the two Doctors that kind of saying they're darker Doctors. I don't actually think that's true. And I think Moffat lightened up Capaldi very quickly. Capaldi's first episode is amazing, and I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, Moffat's really being brave here. Comes out the TARDIS, he's got the whole thing with the dinosaur, he treats Clara like shit. It's beautiful to see. Sorry, Clara, sorry, Jenna, but it was fun to see. And we thought this Doctor's going to be amazing. But unfortunately, what happened there was to please the younger audience who weren't happy about an older Doctor. They watered him down quickly and made it the Clara show. Wasn't Jenna's fault. Jenna did a great job. She had great chemistry with both Matt and Peter. I did prefer her with Matt, but I thought the chemistry with Peter was great, but they made it all about her to kind of try and bring back the younger audience. Because I'm thinking, you kind of knew that you were going to piss off your younger audience when you cast an older Doctor, so why are you backtracking? So that was a problem. But absolutely, Jodie's Doctor has to give us something special. You can give me the best kind of IMAX cameras. You can give me the best directors. The writers, we don't know. Let's not judge them yet. Some are coming back from last year. And we're getting some new ones with not a lot of great experience. But experience doesn't mean anything. Patty Jenkins didn't have much experience when she directed Wonder Woman. And look what she gave us. So it's all about the talent. and the art, but we shall see what we get. I can't sit here. There's many YouTubers who are part of the Fandom Menace who are going to do videos telling you it's going to be crap. Bo Strick's already done that, right? He said it's going to be crap. He's dismissing it already. I can't do that. I'd be lying to you. I wouldn't be worthy of you subbing to me if I said, wow, it's going to be crap. I don't like a woman playing the Doctor, so I suggest you don't watch it. We're just going to sit here being really negative. I can't do that. I love Doctor Who, and I'm looking forward to season 12. And I can only hope that it's more exciting and more interesting than most of season 11. I love The Woman Who Fell to Earth. I love the second episode, which I forgot what it was called. And was it The Ghost Monument or whatever it was, right? And episode 3, Rosa, was one of the best episodes of TV I've ever seen. Brilliant, right? Brilliant. It was only after that we really had problems. And that was a shame. And for me, the issue really wasn't the men suck thing, even though they had the Norwegian guy, whatever he was, trying to label him as a bad dad. That was sad. That's a shame that they went down that road. But that's Chris Chibnall rather than the BBC. And look, as I say, it's a shame because I'm one of the few people who actually loves Chris as a writer. I'm one of the few people who thinks Cyberwoman is one of the best episodes of Torchwood I've ever seen. A lot of people hate Cyberwoman. I think it's compelling. We brought Yanto into the story. We saw that moment between Yanto and Jack where he literally has got a gun to his face. I thought that was such a dark, awesome episode. But a lot of people don't agree with me on that. And that's up to you. You don't have to agree with me on that. But at the end of the day, new season, new start. If it's no good, I will absolutely convey that to you. But as I say, I am not going to, when I talk about The Rise of Skywalker or Doctor Who Season 12, I'm not telling you it's going to be rubbish because I don't know. I'm naturally a positive person. I don't have any ill feelings towards Jodie Whittaker or Chris Chibnall. I will judge them on what they give me creatively. If they don't like it, I will say that coming from my own point of view, but I won't tell you not to watch it because that's just ridiculous. These people have been in the industry for a while. They're experienced. I think they made very boring Doctor Who from episode 4 of season 11 onwards, and I think the fans deserve better. I think they deserve to give us better so they can get the plaudits. I don't think it was rubbish. I just think it wasn't very interesting. Just like most of season 7 of Doctor Who wasn't very good and wasn't very interesting. We had the same problems there, and we had a male Doctor. So it's not about the gender of the Doctor here. We've got to be honest about what we see. All we can do is be positive and hope we actually start getting awesome Doctor Who again. And if we're honest as fans, we haven't had awesome Doctor Who for a very long time in the new Who era. We haven't had it really since season 6. And then Moffat heard Matt was leaving and he lost his mojo. That was the saddest thing. To hear a showrunner say, do you know what, I wanted to leave as soon as Matt said he was leaving. It's rather shameful and quite pathetic that Stephen Moffat said that. And I love Stephen Moffat. I do. He's a very talented man. Bring on Dracula. But to actually publicly say that, yeah, I wasn't feeling it after Matt was leaving, I understand you had a vision for his Doctor, but Jesus Christ, man, you're the showrunner of Doctor Who. Why did you take this on? Then we had all this nonsense about him and Gatiss saying that the BBC trapped him on the show. It's outrageous, isn't it, how these people talk, and they can say whatever they want because they are Stephen Moffat and Mark Gatiss. So, I don't know. I just want great Doctor Who. For a first time in a long time, I want awesome Doctor Who. I want epic Doctor Who. Chris Chibnall is a talented writer, and he can do that. So, what do you think? Are you excited? Do you trust the BBC that this is going to be the most epic, awesome, outrageous season of Doctor Who we've ever seen? Are you excited about Sir Lenny Henry and Stephen Fry appearing as guest stars in season 12 of Doctor Who? And let me know, I'm quite interested. Are you going to be watching season 12? Are you giving it a miss? Or are you officially boycotting all Doctor Who from now on? And also, I think in next week's Doctor Who show, we're going to talk spin-offs. We're going to talk spin-off ideas. and see what we come up with. So until next week, when I'll be back with more Doctor Who show, have a nice day, Time Lords. Be back soon.